Well, to give you a little background about how Happy's Java started out and the motivation behind it. I had a very successful career in Highline motorhome sales. I've sold motorhomes all over the country. I managed and trained some of the most successful salesmen in the country. Everything was going good until May the 9th of 2008, and I was up in Medford, Oregon, riding on my Segway, and someone ran me down in the parking lot and left me for dead on the side of the road.
When he first came in with me, he had a completely different business model, and he'd kind of retired from the RV industry. He was a very high-ranking sales performer in the RV industry.
Once we started recovering from the injury, it was pretty obvious he was going to find something to do to support my family. We decided to expand our coffee business because we're coffee importers and coffee roasters. The only problem was I didn't know a whole lot about the business side of it. Fortunately, I got hooked up with the SBDC over in Eugene, and those folks were just like angels.
Recently, we've had the fortune to work with Happy's Java and Soul Food Shack, and he's gone through our advising, some of our classes, and most recently one of our programs. He's a success story for the Small Business Development Center here at Lane Community College. Hey, my name's Jim Lindley. I'm the Director Dean of Lane Community College's Small Business Development Center, and we've been helping small businesses since the early 80s get started and grow. The way we do that is through one-on-one advising. So we have free advising here for anyone that wants to come in and talk with one of our trained advisors. And then we have a number of classes, seminars, workshops that lead up to a number of different programs that we have to help businesses, both through classroom, cohort learning, and also through one-on-one advising. Having worked in the restaurant business myself and actually done some consulting there, it's one of the toughest businesses to start and operate profitably. One of the difficulties that businesses have when they get into the restaurant is dealing with different inventory issues, it's perishable, employee issues, marketing issues, and the life cycle of restaurants.
One of the things that inevitably comes up in the business plan is that, and one of the purposes of the business plan is to identify what are your funding requirements. And so it's not unusual for a new business to require hundreds of thousands of dollars in funding to get started.
They recommended sources for funding and grants that turn out to be extremely helpful. We're now at a point where we're looking at a location downtown to do a full sit-down restaurant, and obviously I'm talking to them on a regular basis.
And so one of the things we do is we look at the funding alternatives, and I actually do a 2-hour free workshop a couple of times a year on what I call guerrilla funding, and it's essentially an alternative financing workshop where I look at all of the different ways, alternative ways of getting funding besides a conventional loan. A lot of people think initially, well, okay, I have my business model now, I need $100,000, so I'm just going to go out and get a loan, no problem, huh? Well, probably less than 10% of loan applications are ever result in a loan.
In closing, I want to make one thing perfectly clear to you. I started out with a 10 by 10 easy up going over to the farmer's market here in Springfield. Didn't have anything else going on except that I knew I had a vision of being successful. From there, we opened up a little small coffee shop. That was a miracle. Within a year, we're in the Soul Food Shack. A bigger miracle. Now we're looking at doing a full sit-down restaurant downtown Eugene, and that'll be the biggest miracle of all. I will guarantee you one thing. Whether you are a successful business, a business that's struggling, an entrepreneur that has a business idea, if you take the time to go over to the SBDC your life will change. You will learn what you don't know. That is my promise.